Hey, everyone. Welcome to the VO Boss Podcast and the Boss Money Talk series. I'm your host, Ann Ganguza, and I am thrilled to be back again with one of my favorite girls to talk about money, Danielle Famble. Hey, Danielle.
Hey, Ann. Good to be back.
Danielle, I have a secret to tell you.
What?
I love money.
And I don't think that's a secret.
Oh, gosh. You know, it's so funny that, is it just me, or is it that some people don't like to discuss their relationship with money? And I think that's a very important thing, obviously, for us running businesses, is our relationship with money. I mean, money matters. And I think we have to really talk about what our relationship with money is like, because I'll tell you, when I was growing up, you know, as a female, it wasn't a thing to make money. Like my parents, you know, it was my dad that went out and it was the breadwinner, and it was always kind of like ingrained in my brain that I was supposed to do other things, and not necessarily, it wasn't my critical role was to make money. But in my business, I certainly don't have another purpose than to be able to make money to help survive.
Yeah, it's almost like the purpose of a business is to make a profit, and that profit is, you know, making money. And
money.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's a sociological thing. I think it's also just, you know, we're sort of taught that talking about money is too risque, and it's not polite.
Yeah, don't be greedy.
We're running businesses, and businesses need to make money, so we should talk about it.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I'm not really shy, at least on this podcast, about talking, and that's why I'm so happy that you're here to talk about money. And this whole Money Talk series is just like, makes me a happy girl. I like talking about it because I think it's something that as business entrepreneurs, we don't discuss enough of, right? We don't discuss, and especially, you know, for myself and my values and things that were taught to me when I was growing up were completely different than what I need to implement in order to have and run a successful business. Again, like, you know, the one very primary one was that women were not breadwinners. They were, you know, meant to have families and do other things. And so I really was kind of at a standstill when I was growing up, because I was seeing things that were demonstrated to me that I didn't necessarily think should be true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think there's also this like belief about money that, you know, maybe that it's hard to make money, or you have to struggle to get it. And I really believe that money can come easily to you if you learn about it and understand it and know how it works. But yeah, I mean, for me too, I mean, I grew up with parents who are entrepreneurs, and seeing my mom and dad work together, and my grandparents even working together to make money, it wasn't necessarily that imbalance in a way of the man goes out and is the breadwinner, and that actually was totally happening in my home. But in terms of business, I was seeing, in my life anyway, sort of more of an equal partnership when it came to money, but we never really talked about it.
Right?
It wasn't something that we discussed. I just happened to pick up on what I saw, and then I made assumptions based on what I saw that may or may not have been true.
I love that you said that, because you're right. Money was like one of those things. My grandmother, I'm from that age where children should be seen and not heard. But money, you don't talk about money. It's not polite, right? It's just not, you don't discuss money. And, you know, you're right. I saw things, I witnessed things, and so I made my own assumptions. I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because you're right. Some of these assumptions maybe were incorrect on my part, and I grew up thinking a certain way, and it affected how I thought about money, right? And how I thought about, well, I guess I need to go out and get a job. It didn't occur to me that I could make my own money and be my own boss. And I think had I maybe had a different relationship with money, or maybe learned about money at an earlier age, gosh, I will be the first person up on my platform, my soapbox, saying that if you're in grade school, you should be taught about money.
Oh, for sure.
Like from a young
Absolutely.
age, you should be taught
Absolutely.
about money, financial responsibility, relationships with money. Because I think you need to have a healthy relationship with money. I don't think it should consume you. However, I think you should have a healthy relationship with money. That means that you're not afraid of it.
Yeah.
You're not afraid to talk about it. You're not afraid to learn about it. And I think one of the best things you can do is educate yourself about anything, really. And money is no different. Educate yourself about money. And, because it truly is something that we do need, to survive.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think, you touched on it a little bit, but there is an inherent fear, and money can cause some, a fear response a little bit, especially if you don't have it or you need more of it to get to where you're trying to go in life or in business. I'll tell you a personal story. For me, my education, learning about money and how I needed to interact with money really came from a trauma response, because I got sick and I needed to take some time away from work. And I was working as a waitress. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid. And if you don't get paid, then, you're not going to be able to pay your bills. So for me, I was working a job that required my daily attendance. And if I was not able to do that for whatever reason, for me, that was a health reason, then it affected my money. And I didn't have the savings in place to be able to catch me if I needed to take some time away from my income generating source, my job. And at the time, I was young and healthy, I thought, and I got a random illness that just kind of took me out, and even for a short period of time, actually. And I realized that I did not have the infrastructure in place to make sure that I would be okay, even if I couldn't go to my job.
Sure. Yeah.
Or if you get laid off or anything like that. So I had to educate myself about money and how money worked and how I can be a participating factor in how I can have my own security when it came to money. And for me, having money became a security blanket. And that drove me into almost a fear-based or trauma-based response that if I didn't have money, I was not secure. And that belief system really got me in a negative place around money and work, where I could not stop working because I needed that security.
Right. Or money will get you happy.
Right.
Will get you
And that
happiness, right?
didn't
So
happen
there's
either.
that fine line between, we need money, we need to have that healthy relationship with money. However, money may or may not make the majority of us happy. However, it is needed for our businesses to survive, right?
Right.
And it's needed personally for us to be able to pay the bills and to survive. And so there is that, I think different people have different relationships with money. And also, financial arguments are probably one of the top, sources of divorce, right?
Yeah.
For many people. And so it's such a delicate balance. I mean, how can we have a healthy relationship with our money, Danielle? How do you secure your healthy relationship with money?
I think first it requires you to take inventory of where you currently are. Right. So if you think about...
And that can be a scary thing.
That can be a very scary thing, because you're having to really assess your own beliefs and belief systems, and get down to... I dealt with this in therapy because it really took more than just me to get that out. But really, I mean, when you think about money, like for you, Anne, when you think about money and making money or having money, do you feel cringe, and does it make you feel small, or are you oh, money, I'm so excited? I feel like I already know.
Well, that's kind of my that's kind of my go-to. Oh,
that's your thing. Money, and really having if money and the idea about money makes you feel small or repel, then imagine that that energy is not going to be coming to, or stress. It's not coming to you.
Which is a lot, which is, you're right. And so there becomes that abundant mindset, right? I mean, and there are some people who just don't subscribe to that theory of abundance. But I very much am like, well, I'd rather be more in a positive, abundant mindset than a negative mindset, because just my personality is one where I don't like to be sad or unhappy or stressed. And money can absolutely be a source of stress, and especially, gosh knows, in our businesses that we are our own entrepreneurs. That is probably the number one reason that most people don't make it in the voiceover industry, right? Is they're not making the money they need to survive.
Of course.
For their businesses to survive, or them to survive personally. And that becomes then a great source of stress. So how do we not... how do we deal with it in a way that doesn't bring us so much stress, right, that it is detrimental to our business?
There's so much more to your business than just money, although in this series we've obviously talked so much about money and financial principles and everything else, but there's so many other things to your business. And if there's a way that you can have fun in your business and bring that levity and light and joy to your business, the money, I have found, does come. When I used to be a musical theater actor before I became, behind the mic. And I found that when I was happy and joyful for my friends who were booking work, I actually started booking more work. There was almost like this reciprocity of joy and light and acceptance and abundance to, there's enough. And I see,
there's
and
enough
I celebrate.
for all of us.
There's enough. I celebrate my friend for booking work. That means that there's a job that can come to me as well. So
I think
that. That's something, it feels and it seems a little bit woo-woo, and is there an actionable thing that you can do with it? Maybe just celebrating and being joyful for the work that's coming, for other people who are booking work, if they're sharing it, like on social media, for example. But also being grateful for every single opportunity. Every audition is an opportunity to work. It may not be paid work, because maybe you're not getting paid for that audition, but it's an opportunity to work and to do something that you hopefully love to do, and do it joyfully.
Yeah. I think joy has a lot. I talk a lot about being joyful and following our paths, and really because, I'd rather be joyful than not joyful when I have to work. And so if you take that mindset, right, and apply that to money, right, be joyful about money. Be joyful about the fact that that it can come to you, right? And that when it comes to you, it affords you the opportunity, maybe not to buy the fanciest new car or the fanciest new mic, but it affords you the opportunity to continue in this creative process that brings you joy on a day-to-day basis, right? The more hours of joy that I can have in a day, the better, right? And, if I can do that while making money, and I can allow the money and have that mindset of abundance, that yes, I'm happy for anyone that can survive in this industry. And especially now with all this craziness, with people being fearful of AI taking their jobs away, and AI, and the race to the bottom, right? Well, when you worry and stress out about the race to the bottom and people and things taking your job away, you are taking all that energy and putting it into a place that is not going to help you get more jobs.
Right.
And so in reality, if you focus your energy on, being the best that you can be and finding the joy in the work, the jobs will follow. And I believe that the money will follow. Now, how much money? These days, has the market changed? I think, again, education plays a big role in this.
For sure.
And education in regards to the market, right? And in education in regards to your business sensibilities and your relationship with money. Well, if the market is not necessarily there like it used to be, then what can you do in regards to your financial situation to either rectify that, change that, evolve that, do something different while still maintaining that joyful, abundant mindset?
Oh, yeah. And I also like knowing all the different resources that are out there to help us learn. Knowing that there's, the GVAA rate guide that can help inform how you quote jobs, or what is an industry standard rate? What is a guide that I can use to help me? Or even other voice actors, and just saying, hey, listen, I'm thinking about this particular rate. How does that line up? Or what do you think? Having coaches or mentors or agents or managers or whomever that can help be that resource for you, that's very, very helpful, because you're helping to participate with the rates that everybody, hopefully would be charging, staying, in line, and not being, as you're calling it, that race to the bottom.
Yeah.
And then that can be very joyous, because it's a collaborative effort that we're all making sure that the money is staying within livable, standards of living rates, so that we can all win. That's really helpful, and that helps maintain, for me, helps maintain the joy.
Right.
But also, like, I don't know, I just feel like there has to be, you have to think about where your mentality about money is coming in, because if you are not addressing that, it will come out when you negotiate your own rates.
Sure,
for example.
when you least expect it.
Exactly.
It'll in your daily actions.
In
you
your
don't
daily
realize,
actions.
Right?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I love that you're talking about negotiation, because you're right. That attitude, those thoughts that you have about money will absolutely come out in negotiations with money, and even, I would say, in your auditioning and your confidence in your product.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it can absolutely, well, I am not worth what someone else might be worth, because I'm just starting out. I'm new. And again, that has a relationship. That relationship directly parallels, I think, with your relationship with money, because I mean, as voice actors, we are all investing money in this business, and we are all worth a particular amount, and we should never consider that worth being lower or low, just in general.
Yeah.
Kind of like, in money, is money bad? No, money should be thought of as a means to good and positivity.
Yeah,
right. That can help us to. It's a resource, a tool to help us achieve our dreams and our joys, and to do something that can propel us further. Right. Money will help me to take my career further, take my business further, right? I can make more investments. I can maybe find another genre that brings me, even more joy, that kind of thing. So really that relationship, I think, that you have with money, go back to, if you have, if you're stressed out, if you're nervous, if you're, all about like, oh gosh, I'm not going to make it because AI is going to take over, or, it's a race to the bottom these days. And in reality, I think that if you take that energy and focus it on how can I resonate abundance, right? How can I resonate abundance in my business? And that, of course, I think, again, when you talk about business, I think you can't not talk about money.
It's impossible.
I think it's impossible, because you can't run a business without money, and you can't sustain a business without money, and you can't grow your business without money.
Yeah.
Right? Because
again, and I've said this several times, the purpose of a business is to create a profit. And you have to be making more than you spend to run the business. In order to do that, you have to be making more money and growing your business as time goes on. And if you have a fear, or your belief system about money is limiting your ability to grow your business and scale your business, then it's going to be a very uncomfortable time running your business. And if you want to have a business for years and years and years, imagine living your life that way for years and years and years. It's just not fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like to think of it in terms of money mindset and mindset in general, right? You have a choice. You have a choice in how you think and how you think about things. And for me, I'd much rather think about things from a positive perspective, just because I don't like to be unhappy, and I don't choose to be unhappy. And so I try to think of everything in the more positive light, even if, let's say, it's been slow this month, right? And maybe it's been slow for a couple of months, right? So how do I take that worry, that potential financial worry? It's like, oh gosh, how am I going to make the payments this month? How am I going to pay my employees this month? And really kind of take the time that you would spend worrying about that in terms of, all right, sitting down, and these would be positive aspects of how, all right, so now maybe we are slow this month. So what can we do to rectify that? What can we do? Right?
How can I?
How can I do this? How can I rectify that so that I won't have this worry, this cloud hanging over my head? What can I do? Can I market more? Can I don't know, maybe once in a while you might have to accept a job that is maybe below what you initially quoted, right? And maybe that's something that you will concede to and not think negatively about that, right? In terms of thinking of it as a financial stepping stone, right? And having that relationship where you're not angry that you're making less, right? For this one time, right?
But there's joy in making something at all.
Exactly.
There's joy in making money.
Exactly.
What I love about what you just said is think about how much more creative freedom you've just given yourself by turning that fear, that worry on its head of, how am I supposed to, how can I, pay the bills this month, into what do I need to do? How can I make some additional money or income or do something different? Then you have the option to say, okay, wow, as a creative, as a person who is a creative, an actor, a person who makes things from, other people's words, and I turn that through my body into this thing that I've created and added value to the businesses and the organizations and the companies and the brands that I voice for.
Absolutely.
When you think about it like that, oh my goodness, and imagine like the joy and the levity that comes from that.
Yeah.
Because then you can become more creative. Okay, yeah, maybe I will negotiate this particular job, and I don't get the amount that I wanted to, but look, I made some money. Or look, I'm
Which
auditioning.
I can now reinvest.
Now we invest, or now I take more classes, or get demos, or learn a different style or genre, or work with someone.
Right.
Like there's so many possibilities there when you open up your mindset to how can I, what can I do? What are the opportunities out there?
Right.
Because I look at all of the auditions that are out there, let's say on a pay-to-play site, if you can see like all the auditions that are out there, they're looking for human beings. They're looking for people to do that work. And so if you look at these as opportunities, the opportunities are all around you.
Right.
And you've opened your mind to it.
And I think if you allow, and we talk about like allow the money to flow like a river, if you allow that money, if you think abundance, if you think joy, if you think about allowing the possibility of money, rather than, oh God, I can't do this, or I can't charge what I can't charge, or that client is trying to is trying to gyp me out of, that kind of negativity where, oh, they're trying to gyp me out of what I'm worth. And that's, so it's good to know what you're worth, but it's also good to know that when a company states they have a budget and they can't meet the budget that you initially want, that you turn that on its head and you say, okay, well, it's an opportunity for me to make maybe not what I originally intended, but also it's an opportunity that I can then take and turn into other opportunities. So rather than being angry and complaining and going to social media about it, or that kind of thing, again, from an educational perspective, right, really trying to take a different look at it in terms of, okay, that wasn't what I initially would have wanted, but you know what, this opportunity to work with this company, maybe I'll get another opportunity and it will turn into something that is more positive than negative.
Or saying no to that opportunity also gives you the opportunity to work with somebody else, because you aren't, your time is a limited resource.
Yes, exactly.
You can't get more of it. So if you're spending your time with something that is not the right fit for you, you're not making the type of money that you're wanting to make, or you're mad because you said yes to this thing because you really needed the money, you may not be able to take on something else that is a better fit.
Exactly.
So understanding the cost benefit of saying yes or saying saying no to something
both of
might
them.
be what brings more into your business, more money to you. It's all flowing to you, like a river. It's called currency for a reason because it's got to move.
Oh, love that. Love that analogy. It's called currency for a reason. Yeah, absolutely. So just trying to take things that maybe are not productive for either your workflow or your mental state regarding money and finances, especially when it comes to this business. And this is not easy, guys. We know this. I mean,
for sure.
And I think I've been in this business, close to, 18 years. And Danielle, you've been in the business for enough years to know that it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And honestly, the attitude and the positivity with which you approach your business and money opportunities has a direct correlation with your success. I really believe that.
Yeah, I do too.
It's just one of those things. So really, I think sit back and look at your relationship with money and your stress levels around money, and maybe just sit down and write down. Again, we can turn this into a goal setting podcast as well, because I do believe that setting financial goals, and we have a podcast on that as well, it can really help to benefit how you can see your relationship with money, and really I help you identify where you might need to work on things, right? So if you're looking at your financials, you're taking a hard look at what your financials are coming in and going out, and then assessing, okay, where are the opportunities? And instead of being angry or depressed or frustrated or thinking you're not enough, figuring out what did work, and then figuring out what other things do you think could work. And I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with in your business while you're growing it to get other sources of income from other careers. It doesn't. I mean, you don't have to be completely all in voiceover. You can do computer consulting or technology consulting or web design or any other thing. I mean, work at a restaurant. There's nothing wrong with that in terms of opportunities, financial opportunities, and looking that as a positive to continue on a good relationship with money that can allow you to expand your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing I can tell you, for me, when I was working on my belief systems around money and how I could, improve that, was finding a sense of gratitude for the money that I had.
Yes.
One of the things,
love that.
Just on a personal level, one of the things when I was really struggling with this is when I would open up my bank account and look at the amount of money, I immediately felt shame and scared and sad and just a lot of these negative feelings looking at the money that I had. It is simply just a fact of what is there right now, but it also is proof that I have the ability to make money.
Yeah,
so
I love
one of
that.
the things that I did, and it could be something that the listeners do as well, is develop a practice of just simply greeting your money and saying hello to your money every day.
I love that.
So what I would do is I would open up my account, look at the money, feel whatever feeling I was feeling, and then just say, hey money, good morning. There will be more or less or what have you, but like, hey, and just looking at it for
Let's
what
get more
it
friends.
was.
Let's go make friends.
Let's go make friends. Let's go bring on some more people here.
Yes, exactly. Let's get
really just looking at the account and letting whatever feelings come, but those feelings are not real. They are simply feelings, and those feelings can actually help or hurt you in trying to bring more friends to the money that you already have.
Exactly. I love that. So yeah, you're right. Looking and saying hello and addressing your money and facing it, right, on a day-to-day basis. It's kind of like, gosh, my weight loss journey, right? I didn't want to look at the scale. I didn't want to look at the numbers. I was scared. And every time I would look at the numbers, it would bring this feeling of shame and horror and sadness. And so the more you do it, the easier it gets. right? So that you can try to take that mindset and turn it into one of gratefulness, one of positivity. And the same thing with your money. Look at your money scale.
Yeah.
I'm going to say on a day-to-day basis.
Sure.
Greet it and then say, what can I do? And for this, what can I do to maybe gain more money weight, right? And be grateful for what you have on the scale at that time, and really assess what is it that you can do to change this in a more positive way. Mm-hmm. I mean, gosh, what a great conversation. I mean, money is a mindset. It really is. And you're right.
It really is.
The way that you feel about it, it's just that they're just feelings, right?
Yeah. I've been told, and I heard this saying, feelings are not facts, right? Mm-hmm. Your feelings, while they are completely like real to you, it may not be the end result.
Right.
It's just the feeling that comes up, and you can, just like you train your body, just like you train your mind,
choose those
you can
feelings.
Train your feelings,
mm-hmm.
and
you can
really
choose
it just
joy.
takes.
You can choose joy at any given moment of the
joy.
day.
These are choices
mm-hmm.
that can be made,
mm-hmm.
and then when you choose joy, imagine how much more abundance will be coming your way.
Right. Choose joy. Choose money. Choose to look at your money, and then choose to turn that into gratefulness and positivity, and that will allow the currency to flow, the river to flow. I love it. Oh my gosh, what a great episode. Danielle, thank you so much, as always, for sharing your gems with us in this series. I really, really am loving it, and I can't wait till our next one. Bosses, I'm going to give a great big shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL, that allows our currency to flow and our voices to flow over the line. You can find out more at ipdtl.com. Guys, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.